my dear students, welcome to chemistry class once again. In my previous class I have started chapter number 2 and the name was elements, compounds and mixtures. I have taught you in my previous class that what is matter. Anything that has mass, occupies space is called matter. What is matter composed of? What is matter made up of? Matter is made up of tiny particles. These particles are invisible by our naked eyes. We cannot see with our naked eyes. With the help of our naked eyes we cannot see. These tiny particles are atoms. Okay, matters are made up of tiny particles called atom. When these atoms combine they form molecules. Okay, and matter is further classified into two categories: pure substances, and next category is mixtures or mixed substances. This pure substances is also classified into two categories: elements and compounds. Elements and compounds are pure substances, and mixtures are heterogeneous mixture, or you can say homogeneous mixtures. Then we have seen about pure substances, their examples and their characteristics also we have seen. Then we have seen the mixed substances. Okay, today now let's start our class with the topic elements. What are these elements? Okay, as said you, these elements comes in the category of pure substances. Okay, when these pure substances are made up of same kinds of atoms. When the substances, these pure substances will made up of same kinds of atoms, it's called element. Elements is a pure substance. Elements are pure substances, okay, which are made up of same kinds of atoms. They will be made up of same kinds of atoms. In that substance, only similar kinds of atom will be there. Like in gold, gold is an element. In gold, there will be only gold atoms. In silver, there will be only silver atoms. In oxygen, there will be only oxygen atoms. Okay, so when the pure substances are made up of same kind of atoms, okay, that is called elements. Elements are pure substances, okay, which cannot be broken down into simpler substances by any physical or chemical methods. We cannot break this element into simpler substances. Till now, 118 elements are known. Some of the elements are like hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon, oxygen, sodium, magnesium, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, calcium, iron, silver, gold and mercury are some of the elements. There are many more elements, okay. Now these are different elements. So these different elements are made up of different types of atoms. Carbon will have carbon atoms, oxygen is made up of oxygen atoms, sodium with sodium atoms. So different elements will have different atoms. Atoms of certain elements join to form molecules of that element. Some of the atoms they combine to form molecules. For example, can you see that O? O is the symbol of oxygen. So when these two oxygen atoms combine, they form oxygen molecule. Okay. Other examples are also there, like when two hydrogen atoms will combine, they will form hydrogen molecule. Here I have shown you of oxygen atoms. When the two oxygen atoms combine, they form oxygen molecule. Okay. So this was about when the atoms combine, they form molecule. Okay. Helium, neon, argon, etc. These are the elements whose atoms do not have ability to combine and form molecules. So they remain as single atom. They cannot combine and form molecules. Hydrogen and helium are the most abundant elements found in the entire universe. Hydrogen and helium are found in the entire universe. And the heat and the light that we get from the sun is because of these two elements. Hydrogen and helium are found in the entire universe. Okay. Now, oxygen, silicon, aluminum and iron are the most abundant element found in the Earth's crust. Hydrogen and helium are found in the entire universe, but this oxygen, silicon, aluminum and iron are found in the Earth's crust. We know that air is a mixture of gases, out of which 78% is nitrogen, 21% is oxygen, and rest whatever the percentage left is the other gases. So almost 3 by 4th of the air is nitrogen on the earth. This one is in fraction, that 3 by 4th of the air is nitrogen on the earth. Mostly the plant bodies are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Okay, so their plant bodies are made up of these elements. Our own body is made up of carbon, hydrogen, calcium, iron and oxygen. So our body is also mostly made up of these elements. Elements has been classified into metals, non-metals, metalloids and inert gases on the basis of the different properties they have. So we will learn about this in detail one by one. We will learn about this, okay? First we will see in detail about the metals, okay? Most known elements are metals. What are the examples of metals? Iron, copper, silver, gold, mercury, lead, zinc and calcium are examples of metals. So after seeing this, we will see the properties of metals. Now let's see properties of metals one by one. Number one property is that they are usually hard solid. Metals are usually hard at room temperature. But there are also exceptions to this rule. That is, I said that metals are hard, but sodium is a metal. It is a soft metal and it can be cut with the help of knife. So sodium is a soft metal, okay? Other exception to this rule is that mercury is a metal. Mercury is also a metal, but it exists as liquid at room temperature. Mercury is a liquid metal. Number two property is that they have high melting point and boiling point. Now what is this melting point? The temperature at which a substance changes from solid to liquid form is called melting point. And now what is this boiling point? The temperature at which a substance changes from liquid to gaseous form is called boiling point. Now tungsten is a metal, okay, and tungsten has the highest melting point, that is 3422 degrees Celsius. This tungsten will start melting at the highest point, that is 3422. When it will reach to the degree of 3422, then only it will start melting. So the tungsten has the highest melting point. And mercury is a metal that has lowest melting point, that is minus 39 degrees Celsius. Mercury will start melting at minus 39 degrees Celsius only. It has the lowest melting point and mercury is a liquid metal. Third point is that they are usually lustrous, okay, they are shiny. See, this gold is a metal, gold is shiny, gold usually shine. So gold is a lustrous metal. This is the aluminium sheet. Aluminium is also shiny. This is shiny aluminium sheet. It is the metal. This is a copper. Okay, this is made up of copper, and copper is also a metal and they are usually lustrous and shiny. They usually shine. Number 4 property is that they are ductile. Ductile means that metals can be made into wires also. They can be stretched to make thin wires. See, this is copper wire. This wire is made up of copper metals. Copper is made into thin wires. Next one is the aluminium wire. Aluminium is also a metal and it is stretched and made into thin aluminium wires. So these are the metals and they are ductiles to make into wires. Fifth point is that they are malleable. Metals are malleable means they can be beaten into sheets. This is aluminium sheet. Aluminium is beaten into aluminium sheets. This is gold sheet. Okay, gold is beaten and made into gold sheets. So gold are also malleable. They are malleable. They can be made into sheets. Sixth property is that they are sonorous. That means they will produce a deep ringing sound when struck. When these bells, these are made up of metals. So when they will struck, so what they will produce? They will produce sound. So metals produce sound when they get struck. Last property is that metals are generally good conductor of heat and electricity. This is a copper wire. We use copper wire because it is good conductor of electricity. Okay, this is aluminum wire. We use aluminum wire also. So aluminum wire is also a good conductor of electricity. I said that metals are generally good conductor of heat and electricity, but there is also exception to this rule. Tungsten is also a metal, but it is poor conductor of heat and electricity. Tungsten is poor conductor of heat and electricity. Now let's see about non-metals. What are these non-metals? Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, bromine and iodine are some common examples of non-metals. These are common non-metals. Now we will see one by one the properties of non-metals. Properties of non-metals. So number one property is that they may be solid, liquid or gas. Non-metals can be in the form of solid, liquid or gas. Okay. This carbon is a non-metal and it is a form of solid. Sulfur is a non-metal and it is in the form of solid. Oxygen and hydrogen are gas at room temperature. They are non-metal but they are gas at room temperature. Bromine is the only non-metal which is liquid at room temperature. This is bromine and this is non-metal and it is liquid at room temperature. Carbons exist in different forms of solid. Okay. So this is the soft suit of carbon. Diamond is the hardest known solid found in the nature, are both carbon. Okay. Second property is that they have low melting and boiling point. Non-metals have low melting and boiling point. Exceptions are diamond and graphite. Diamond and graphite, they don't have low melting and boiling point. Okay. So this diamond and graphite are exceptions to this rule. Third property is that they are usually non-lustrous. That means they do not shine. Non-metals, they do not shine. However, exception is that graphite is a form of carbon and iodine are lustrous non-metals. They are non-metals, they are lustrous. That means they are shiny. Okay, graphite and iodine are non-metals but they are shiny. Number 4 property is that they are non-ductile and non-malleable. That means they cannot be made into wires and they cannot be beaten into sheets. Non-metals are usually hard. Okay, so if you will beat with the hammer, it will break. It will not be made into sheets or wires. So they are non-ductile and non-malleable. Fifth property is that non-metals that exist as solid are brittle. Non-metals which are solid, they are brittle. Okay, they will break into pieces when you will heat with the hard object such as hammer. If you will heat with hammer, these non-metals which are in the solid form, they will break into pieces. Sixth property is that they are non-sonorous. That means they will not produce any kind of sound when struck. Okay, non-metals, they do not produce sound on being struck. Okay, when they will get struck, they will not produce any sound. When two non-metals, if you will heat, they will not produce any sound. This means that they are non-sonorous. Last property is that they are bad conductors of heat and electricity. Non-metals are usually bad conductor of heat and electricity. Okay, but there is also exception. Okay, that graphite is non-metal but it is a good conductor of electricity. Graphite is non-metal. Graphite is a non-metal but it is good conductor of electricity. After non-metals, let's see about metalloids. What are metalloids? Okay, so here we will see about metalloids. Metalloids are the elements which have properties in between metals and non-metals. So metalloids will have the property between metals and non-metals. So there are also examples of metalloids like boron, silicon, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, polonium and germanium. So these are some examples of metalloids. Now you can also see in the form of pictures. Okay, see, number 1 is boron, number 2 is silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium. So these are the non-metals and their properties are between metals and non-metals. Now let's see the last classification of element, that is inert gases. Now what are these inert gases? Elements that are gaseous in state and that neither react nor undergo chemical change easily are called inert gases or noble gases. They do not undergo chemical change, okay, easily, and they neither react. They don't react easily and they do not undergo chemical change easily. Some of the examples of inert gases are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon are inert gases. They are the examples of inert gases. They are found only in extremely small quantities in the air. They are found in small quantities in the air. So today we have seen about elements, about metals, about non-metals, metalloids and inert gases. Okay, we have seen the examples, we have seen the properties of metals, non-metals. Okay, even we have seen what is this metalloids and inert gases. Okay, so for today up to this much. In my next class I will teach you the other topics.